Welcome back to Stadia Source, your number one source for Stadia news and reviews. My name is Avery, and this is the Stadia Source Roundtable Podcast. We have got a fantastic show for you tonight, so let's get started. With me tonight, we've got to my left, Dan the Man.
How's it going?
We got Lord Moore.
Hello.
And we got your original penguin, Adam.
You right?
And joining us tonight, we are so excited to have her. You may know our guest tonight from her amazing graphic design work and the Team Stadia Plays account, as well as the amazing gamer gear from Ready Player One and Dragonwood Gifts, including this beautiful headphone holder right behind me. It's Scarlett.
Hello, people.
Thank you so much for being with us tonight. We're so glad to have you. Before we get started, did you know you can get the Roundtable as an actual podcast? Search for Stadia Source on Pocket Casts, Google Play Podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, SoundCloud, wherever it is that you happen to get podcasts. Before we kick off with today's news and all those important details, Scarlett, let's take a moment and get to know you. Tell us a little bit about your history with Stadia and what you like to play, and tell us a little bit more about Ready Gamer One and Dragonwood Gifts.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Carly. I was a founder for Stadia like 10 minutes after announcement. It was something that was like really cool and I was really excited about, and I convinced my husband to let me get it, and he let me. So that started out, and then there was the ages of waiting. Mostly what I like to play is kind of like the fun, silly games. So I really enjoy Orcs Must Die. I really got into stacks on stacks on stacks, mostly because my 7-year-old loves to play. Yes. So I really like to play those kinds of games, mostly because I've already played all of the bigger games on our PS4. So I didn't really feel a need to rehash a whole lot of those yet. As for like what I do and kind of like who I am, so I run a couple businesses. I run Dragonwood Gifts, where, as Avery pointed out, I make headphone stands, I make controller stands. There's some really cool stuff that I make. But I also run Ready Gamer One, where I make, as I call it, epic gamer gear with unique designs. So some of the things I make are shirts, hoodies, jackets, this neck gaiter, as it's called. I make mugs, all sorts of fun stuff. A lot of it's related to games that I enjoy, and because I'm a gamer, you can trust me to make cool stuff.
Very awesome. Well, it's so great to have you here tonight, and we appreciate you jumping on board to help us discuss the week's Stadia news and all that good stuff. So let's kick off, as we normally do, with what we have been playing this week. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that a lot of us have been playing some of these pro games that have come out, but we'll let the guests go first. Scarlett, what have you been playing this week?
I haven't had much chance to mess around on Stadia this week. I was finishing up Origami King, Mario, because I love Paper Mario. But I was checking out Bomberman. It seemed really fun and just chaotic, and I love that kind of chaotic nonsense. So I'm really looking forward to playing that more.
Very cool. Adam, how about you?
Well, I've had a quick go on all of them to record some footage, but can I just say Super Bomberman is really not my thing. Oh my God.
Quiet, you. Quiet.
When I started playing it,
go to your corner now. How dare
right,
It's really
leave
missing
that
wheat and sorghum element that you like in a game.
If you could play as a combine harvester, it'd be all over that.
Do you know, I probably would actually, but I'm useless at it. I managed to stay alive for about 15 seconds in the 2 rounds that I played, and then I was just like, do you know what? I'm just going to spectate and record that as gameplay footage, because otherwise I'm going to take forever just to get 15 minutes of me playing. But no, apart from that, I haven't actually been playing much. Oh, no, that's not true. Today, I spent a few hours playing Rock of Ages 3. Woo!
Felix's favorite game.
It's a bit hard to get excited about Rock of Ages 3. I love the premise, but for me, it's not my cup of tea. But that's what I've been up to.
Very fun. Lord Moore?
A little bit of the Crew too. Just because DeLorean. A lot of Bomberman, and apparently quite a lot of Marvel Avengers.
Yeah, if you weren't playing Avengers, like the fact that you stopped long enough to do the podcast, I thank you for that, because I'm sure that was a deep struggle inside your heart to give us this
Right, let's
hour.
get back to it.
Check out Dan and Ash's playthrough on the channel.
Yeah, please.
Apparently, don't check that out. I've been told that is not a thing that anyone should see. Is that going in the Orcs Must Die vault with mine and Dom's recording?
We'll leave it up just for the. Oh, I've just noticed, totally unrelated. I'm just looking at Twitter, and We Love Dan is trending. # We Love Dan. So
We do love
you,
Dan.
Twitter.
If you're watching this stream right now, tweet out "We Love Dan" and tag Stadiasaurus at Stadiasaurus so that we know that you love Dan too. Speaking of Dan, what have you been playing this week?
So pretty much the same as Ash. We had a few games on the Crew 2 the other night, which is free to play this weekend for anybody that didn't know. So bonus. Been playing some Bomberman as well. Blue Bobs went live on our channel the other day and streamed. A good few hours, I think, wasn't it? Bomberman. And I kid you not,
3 hours.
I started watching that I was just finishing my shift at work, and I was watching it on my phone, and I was like, I have to get home right now to be able to play this with him. It's just super fun, and when you've got a big team of people playing it, you know what I mean, you can just have fun for days on it. And also, as Ash just mentioned, we just had a quick go on the Avengers. I didn't know that you had to go through a tutorial mission to be able to play multiplayer.
There's a good section at the front of it. Like, I played for an hour and a half last night, and I'm still not through it.
But the problem is, the section at the beginning, it has you walking through the base at like a snail's pace. You can't run, you can't jump. And it's probably one of the most boring things I've ever done in a game.
You can run, Dan. Hold down the L3. Click it in.
Don't tell me that.
Yeah. This is the same thing as Dom playing Assassin's Creed Odyssey with heavy attacks only. Just why is this game so clunky? Yes, you can run. Click down L3.
Ash,
All I'm
why don't you tell
saying,
me?
I did try to get you on longer, and you're like, no, I can do 10 minutes. We can do it 10 minutes beforehand.
No, usually like it takes you 10 minutes just to go through the tutorial, and then you're good. So, and then halfway through the game, Ashley's Stadia lagged out, and he ended up getting kicked from the game. So, by the time we got back in, it then crashed again, which is a brilliant advertisement for Stadia, but it is what it is. So, if you're interested, go and watch it. If you're not, then I won't blame you if you don't. But
it's gonna be the top-rated video on our site.
We'll try and get another stream going soon. We'll try and get some more reliable people in, Ashley.
Oh, thanks, Dan, tutorial man.
And I think we also need to get, when you start the podcast, your little intro. We need to get a pre-recorded version of that, because Ash actually absolutely butchered it as well.
It's been a while since I've done a video.
Welcome back to the source of Stadia. It's Stadia, and we do Stadia
it's
here.
True. We are the source of Stadia, and we are.
We're the
Stadia
7th
source.
most popular, but first in reviews. And yeah. As far as what I've been playing this week, as I mentioned, I've played a little bit of Avengers. If y'all hear, by the way, if you're listening live, and not that I'm going to edit any of this out, but if you hear any very loud rumbling noises, it's because it's the apocalypse outside my window right now. And so like, I'm going to, like, my face is going to flash because there's like ginormous lightning strikes and a tornado warning, and the road outside is a river right now. So I don't know. There's going to be a horseman of the apocalypse come over the building next to me shortly, and then I'm done for. So just so y'all know, playing a little bit of I played Avengers last night. I probably spent a good hour and a half on the TV. And my wife has no interest in gaming at all. She made me hook up her GameCube the other day so that she could play the Super Mario DDR game that she has. And that's the one game she has for that. So, like, no. But she really actually enjoyed watching me play Avengers because it's got a very cinematic feel to it. Like, a lot of cutscenes, which, you know, take them or leave them depending on your preference. But it's story. It's like story. So she's really enjoyed watching me play that. And, of course, I jumped in the Bomberman stream a little bit. I tried to play last night and couldn't get anybody on a random game, which I've not heard anybody saying so far that they've had struggles with actually populating a random game. So maybe it was my fault and I didn't do something right, but I tried, so we'll see. A lot of folks already in the chat will say hey to some folks. We've got Gem Stadia. What's up, gamers? I stole your line. Gem says, for you, what's up, gamers, I'm sure. We've got the Gaming Cyborg Ray in the chat. Always good to have you. Stadia Avengers also thinks it's funny seeing Ray here, but he's here, and Stadia Avengers believes that the Stadia Source podcast is awesome. And check out, keep an eye on this stream. That is Anthony, one of our new streamers, and he will be doing a little bit of Avengers and other things on our stream very, very soon. Felix also in the chat. What's up, Felix? Glad to have you there. And Ray telling me to be safe. I will. If a tornado comes through my door, Dan can take it over. It's perfectly fine. Eli also stealing your tag, Gem. Everybody is stealing your tag here. Gem will be contacting his lawyer for us stealing his intro. Oh, and we got Sounds of Stadia in the house, guys. Go subscribe to the Sounds of Stadia podcast. It's wonderful if you haven't already. And Cody, Dan, lots of folks saying hi in the chat. So we're so glad to have y'all here. Happy to have you with us today. Let's jump in and talk about some of the news of the week. And I thought we'd start by just doing a little bit of a review. Now that we've had a couple of days with the September Pro games, just like I did last week, I'm going to take Super Bomberman R out and push it to the side. We're going to come back to Super Bomberman R. So skip that one if you have thoughts on it. But we had otherwise 5 other games that we all got to claim this week. Ember, we've all probably played, unless you never bothered to buy it. I think it was $6 or whatever else. But lots of games out there. So let's run through them and see who's had a chance to play things and enjoyed them so far. Of the new set, I already had Ember, and so I played a little bit of Hitman. I'd never played that one before, and I don't know if I just don't have like the patience to sit there and wait to try to snipe someone or try to find them when they come around the corner, but I'm just like, get to the game. Let me play. I want to play the game. So maybe Hitman is not for me, but I enjoyed that one. I haven't poked around Gunsport or Hello Neighbor yet, but I'm gonna. And then, you know, Avengers took up most of my week. Carly, did you get a chance to jump in and try any of the newbie games?
So I actually wasn't interested in many of the pro games this month. Ember looked really fun, but I haven't gotten around to it. Like I said, Bomberman was something I was interested in, but the other ones, I'm that person who doesn't claim a game that I'm not going to play. So Black Sheep here of Stadia Pro members. But I'm not really interested in any of them. They're not my style of game.
Hey, perfectly understandable. I think they give us enough variety that most months, but there have been plenty of months where I'm like, I don't want to play Metro again. Like, I didn't want to play it the first time, so I'm kind of in that same boat for some of them, but totally understandable.
I did play Metro, actually.
Have you enjoyed that series?
Yeah, so I played, I can't remember which one. I played one of the older Metros on Steam, so quite a while ago. But I've kind of phased out of those types of games. Like I was like that hardcore Fallout person, and I still love Fallout 3, but I'm replaying Fallout 4 and I just don't want to, which is kind of sad. But I did claim Metro, probably just because of nostalgia.
I still have Fallout 4 because I got it free with my Xbox One. I had to buy a new one. It's still in the case. I haven't actually unwrapped the game yet. So.
Keep that for a few years.
Like, why have you bought a game that you're not going to play? And I'm like, I didn't buy it for the game. I bought the Xbox and it just came with it. I didn't have a choice. So.
Yeah, like I don't play sports games at all, but the NBA being on sale for like $5 the other day, I'm like, somebody might come over to my house at some point when the world is normal and like sport games. So why not? They can enjoy playing it and I'll eat chips and piddle around on my phone or something.
I think that's what I do as well. I mean, I can totally understand why some people might not redeem a game that, they're not going to play, especially given that you can't actually delete them from your profile as well at this point in time. But I try to think, like, for example, my nephew might come around and, he might play that. Or so I try and think of other people. So I just end up redeeming everything, even if I don't play it. But
I guess I'm selfish and I don't share my Stadia. So
Nobody is touching Scarlet Stadia.
Nobody is touching my Stadia.
I wasn't trying to say that you don't think of others, Scarlet. But...
Breaking news on the Stadia Source podcast: Scarlet is terribly selfish. But no,
Yes.
that's hard. You're wonderful. We wouldn't say that at all. And Dom, here's your shout out, buddy. Get in the game. Turn that camera on. We'll see you. Guys, other games that you've been playing from the set? Anybody jumped into Gunsport or Hello
Gunsport's
Neighbor?
a really good game. I when I first saw it, I thought this isn't going to be for me. I'm not really a fan of the old retro arcadey style games, and this one is very heavy retro looking, but it's actually really good fun. However, at the moment, I understand that there's a problem with the multiplayer. There's an insane amount of lag that there wasn't before. During their Q&A, not Q&A, their QA, during their quality, whatever it is, quality control, there was no issues, including the sound problem that they had. And then as soon as it went live, they had all these problems. But I've noticed a couple of games have been doing that lately, including Hitman. It loaded you into a mission that really you shouldn't even have access to unless you've bought the second game. And there was some other things that have come up lately. They keep popping up now and then. But yeah, Gunsport, honestly, the focus is on Super Bomberman at the minute. But honestly, give Gunsport a go. It is really good. And Ember. I know a lot of people didn't buy Ember because it was early access and they don't like the idea that the game might not ever be finished and you're parting money for that. However, Ember is good laugh. And the people that are sat there on the toilet using their phones, when you pick them up and like you drop them by accident, they then run back to the toilet using their phones. You're like, for goodness sake, you're running through fire. But yeah, good fun.
They've got
That's
to
society
finish.
these days.
You've got to finish, haven't you? You need to wipe and stuff. Jesus.
Oh my word.
No comment.
Scarlet with the sneak of the extra merch, just Stadia stuff, just hiding it. Just throughout the podcast, she's gonna like slowly be like, "Oh," and then put on the beanie, or "Oh no, I'm good," or "Oh, hold on, let me put my controller on this stand." Little hints and pieces.
No,
throughout.
this is the stainless steel bottle that Stadia sent me long time ago when they were sending out all that wicked cool stuff. I use it for everything.
Well, I had a Nintendo one that I got from one of their tours, but Stadia's never sent me Stadia. You've never sent me nothing, and look what I do for you. And Dan, he sent Dan's plenty of stuff, but
Make me feel bad now.
it's okay. No, you're awesome. We love you. Anybody? Hello Neighbor is one that I haven't really kicked around yet. I know not Felix. Yes, either Felix or Anthony. I can't keep my own stream team straight. One of the two of them is going to be doing a Hello Neighbor stream. They're both in the chat. One of you tell me who's tagged that game, and hopefully we'll have a stream on that. Has anybody else given that a shot either now or before when it was on other platforms?
No, I think.
Yeah, I've given it a go, and it's not for me.
Yeah, I think.
There's a lot of not for me's this month, isn't there?
Adam's like, not for me, but I'll take it. Carly's like, not for me, and you keep it. I don't want it. Just perfectly reasonable. Yeah, if you haven't already, by the way, folks, head out to our YouTube channel where you already are. Not right now. We want you to stay here and watch us. But we've posted, Adam's posted a series of 4K first looks. So completely high quality 4K 60, the best of the best, so you can get a good idea of how these games play when cranked up to 11. The Stadia Source team has been like slowly but steadily accumulating higher, bigger tech. And then of course I had to go buy myself a new computer today. So, and jealousy, man, it's a terrible thing. I feel like I've missed one. Ember, the other Metro. Anybody picked up the other Metro? Played it yet, other than Adam, which one have played it? Have you, Carly? Have you actually gotten a chance to play through it at all, or?
I turned it on, and then my kid was done with school, so I had to turn it off. She's not watching.
You don't
me
want
play
them
Metro.
watching you get eaten by horrible sewer demons.
I get nightmares from that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not my game.
Not a game for arachnophobes.
Yeah. Jim Stadia has completely forgotten, number one, what his own name is, and number two, what platform this podcast is about. That's a joke for those who are watching the actual stream and not the thing. We're not even going to tell you what he said from the chat. You got to go watch the YouTube. Cool stuff announced in that world today, though. So let's talk about the other one. Let's talk about Super Bomberman R Online, which could not have a longer name. And let's talk about the game. And we'll talk a little bit about our own stream that good, and then let's kind of talk about the crowd play thing. I think it would be tough for us to not talk about the crowd play thing. So we had first thing Tuesday morning a very, very poppin' stream for Super Bomberman R Online. It turns out that game has a code system where you can form a private room, and then it gives you a little 6 or 7 digit code, and all somebody has to do if they want to play with you is go type in the code, and it lets them jump right in the game. So crowd play or not, it's super easy to stream that game because you can just literally get a bunch of folks on. I think at the top of that stream we had 45 people watching live, which is a lot for a game stream for a brand new game that just came out. And in the chat we had for quite a while, we had Splash Damage. The team behind Outcasters was hanging out with us, answering random questions in the chat, which was very cool. And then toward the end of the chat, Konami themselves dropped in and said hi, and retweeted our stream, and they retweeted us today. So we love you, Konami. If you're watching this right now, hey, keep it coming.
BFFs.
Forever. Love Konami forever. Send me a pachinko machine. I'll put it in the den. So super awesome day of Super Bomberman R, and it's just a really dang fun game. I actually got in and played. I wasn't playing. I'm at work. I can't do anything, and I was like, let's just take a break real quick, and like jumped in for 5 minutes, and it's a super, super fun game. Have you guys thoughts on Super Bomberman R?
You're the guy in Ember on the toilet playing on his phone.
I don't know what you're talking about. I don't have the claw and use it to play Stadia wherever I happen to be.
Sounds like a lie to me.
Yeah, as I said earlier, I absolutely love Bomberman. It's really fast paced. It's quick to get into a game. You know, I mean, there's up to 64 players, so anybody can. If we jump into a game on a stream, people can jump into our game with us. So it makes the fact that the crowd play feature isn't here on Stadia yet a little less like wounding. I'm pretty sure that's probably something you want to talk about later on as well. I don't know if it's on your agenda, but
it's literally on the screen in front of you that we'll talk about crowd play. It's right there. It's right.
Yeah, I don't look down there. But
Dan doesn't watch this podcast. He's just on it.
He doesn't look under his
what
nose.
Is this?
Where am I going, and why am I in this handbasket? Oh God, it's hot.
In a box. But yeah, it's. I know that there was some people, including you, Avery, as well, that were a little bit salty about the fact that crowd play wasn't going to be part of this game, and instead those that got to test the crowd play features in Mortal Kombat before again got access to be able to crowd play this game. I think the two things for me personally, I don't know if you guys agree, was the fact that the crowd play was advertised during the Connect where we first saw Bomberman, and they made a big deal out of it having crowd play. The second is that we find out the day before the game is supposed to come out, or 2 days before, something like that, that it was not going to be there. And Stadia themselves didn't actually tell us. It was, I believe, Juggernaut, who's been on this podcast before as well. I'm wrong. Juggernaut is an absolutely fantastic human being. We had an absolute fun time with him on the podcast before, but it shouldn't be up to someone like him to kind of tell everybody that this is what's happening, especially when you consider the fact that he's not actually a Stadia streamer. He's a streamer of all kind of platforms, and he's only recently picked up Stadia. So yeah, there you go. There's the tweet. So and I think he understands it as well. Yeah, he understands it as well, because I think the way he words, I don't know if it's that. Yeah, while it's sad that crowdplay won't be available at launch, so he totally understands as well. But you know what I mean, it is what it is, and I'm sure he's super happy to be able to at least allow some people to experience crowdplay in some sort of format as well. So
yeah, I think what kind of, I won't say that I was salty about us not getting it. I was salty about how we found out we weren't getting it. To find out in a tweet from Stadia, not from Stadia, from a person who is not on the payroll at Stadia. I think it just continues to speak to the whole why are they not talking to us globally thing. And you know, a lot of different opinions on that. Some people lean on the side of, if they say it, then they're making a big deal out of it and it will be picked up as a big deal. And then some people lean on the side of, if they don't say it, we will find out about it, and then that will be picked up as a big deal. They're almost in a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. But to me, I'm on that side of, we're grown-ups. Like, you can tell us that the shiny new toy isn't coming soon, and it could definitely be couched in, you know, Super Bomberman R Online will be one of the first games to get crowd play. We're still testing it with streamers such as Juggernaut, Kareem Jovian, and Random Gamer 1. Check out their channels to see it in action, and when it goes live, stay tuned right here on the Stadia community blog for that announcement. Done. You're completely done, and then you're good to go. That's my 12 cents on it.
Honesty is the best policy. We've said it before, haven't we? So
yeah.
Sorry, Scotland.
Being a mom, you know, that's one of the things you say to your kids. It's like, just tell me if you do something wrong, and it will go by so much better than if I figure it out myself. So, you know, like the whole crowd play thing, I hadn't heard much about it beforehand of like it coming out with Bomberman. I knew that it had been talked about when they had announced Bomberman, but it didn't really hit me until everybody else was starting to like be upset about it, that it can be a big deal if it feels like you're hiding it. And nobody likes to have things hidden from them.
No.
See, the thing is,
Jim in the chat saying it seems like they avoided saying it, which is, you know, even I did post so I posted twice on Reddit about this. The first time I was like, this is bullshit, and I was not friendly, and it immediately was like 20% upvoted. So it's like, let me stop. Let me delete that. Let me try it again with a Juggernaut told us today on Twitter that blah, blah, blah. And wow, that's disappointing. And then that was like, you know, 80 upvotes. And then, you know, Grace, the community manager, was like, she sent one of the super cut and paste, YouTube experiments are currently ongoing. Click here to learn more about them. I'm like, you're not saying anything. Don't cut and paste me, Grace. I know you. Literally, we've like met digitally. Like, don't cut and paste me, okay? Put me in under NDA and tell me the real truth. Like, I can handle that, but...
See, the issue is that Stadia could easily just come out and tell us the stuff up front and open. It's like with Destroy All Humans, they could have said beforehand, just let you know, guys, it's not coming. They never told us it had to be the actual game devs that told us that. Same with this. They would have known about this for a while, that we're not getting it on release day. So they could have easily put a tweet out or just anything just to be like, all right, guys, we know you're excited, but unfortunately we are still testing this at the moment. We don't have a definite date yet, but with letting you know that you won't unfortunately be able to get it day one.
Can I be
Just
the devil's advocate here, by the
No.
way?
Go for it.
I don't know if I missed whatever it is that you three have watched, you three above me. But as far as I'm aware, the only time we've been told when we are absolutely getting crowd play was, I believe it was during the previous Connect. Dead by Daylight will be releasing with crowd play.
Yeah, that
There's
was
the
it.
thing. They did not say, I've rewatched that Connect. They have not said launching with crowd play. They have said crowd play and crowd choice are available in it, but just the same way they did with Super Bomberman. Super Bomberman said crowd play, but at no point was it crowd play at launch. The exact same thing is going to happen with Dead by Daylight. I am calling it now. We are not getting crowd play with Dead by Daylight on launch day, and I would even bet we're not getting crowd choice either.
No, fair enough. That's a good shout. I was almost certain. They're very good at making you misremember their words.
Didn't they say we were getting this the whole time? Nope.
They said I'd get £1 million as well when it came out, but that never happened. So
yeah. And this is distinct in my mind from, y'all know my Dead by crowd play. I was trying to load that one myself. Yeah, Dead by crowd play. This is distinct in my mind from my common refrain of the community gets mad when they expect a thing when they do not get a thing they were never told they're getting. This is distinct in my mind because Stadia Connect, twice in the July Connect, it was crowdplay. This is coming with crowdplay. And yes, they didn't say it. They didn't say launched with crowdplay, but who would not draw that conclusion? There's no reason you wouldn't say, hey, Dead by Daylight, it's getting crowdplay. We're going to get crowdplay with Dead by Daylight. And I'm sure the plausible deniability of, well, we never said same day. It could be 2023 when it launches. Like, that's frustrating. It's very
It's
frustrating.
like whenever you get a new phone, or for us, for instance, the Stadia Premium Edition or the Founders Edition, if you look on the back, it will say what the contents are. Like, it comes with this, it comes with that, it comes with that. But then when you open it, you just have a note saying, we didn't say you get it when you get the item. You're getting it at a different date. It's like, no, just tell us straight up.
It's fine print, and even if they would just put an asterisk on it and put it in the fine print, that's different. Google bought Fitbit last year, and they just announced new smartwatches with the Google Assistant and the ability to make phone calls from your wrist. And it's big, huge graphics. Use whatever assistant you want, Google Assistant or Alexa, and super awesome. And then as you scroll down the page and you keep scrolling, at the very bottom in teeny tiny 6-point font, it says Google Assistant launching later this year. Make calls on your phone, launching Q4. I'm like, I get it. It's marketing. I get it. But it doesn't make it less frustrating.
Yeah, bigger companies tend to have different rules. Like very different rules. And they are able to get away with it because they are Google. I think most of us, people are more likely to voice their frustrations on the internet than they are to voice anything else. So unfortunately, that's all we hear. But yeah, bigger companies have different rules.
Nobody calls customer service because they're happy. So I've said it a million times. It's terrible. Yeah. Carly, you don't hide anything in the fine print, do you? Like, Team Stadia jersey may not fit people who are more than 5 foot 2 inches tall.
Picture is actual size, so it's really only this big.
It's a doll jersey. Read the fine print.
Yeah. No fine print
by the
for
way,
me.
That Team Stadia jersey is a real nice looking jersey. If only there were more ways for people to get their hands on that jersey. Who knows?
Oh,
Maybe we'll
if
talk
only.
about it later. We'll find out. Bit of random breaking news while we're on the podcast. Apparently, the Stadia store is down right now and is having trouble as everybody furiously navigates over to stadia.google.com and tries to click on the store. Literally like 5 different people.
I will go look now.
Yeah, I think the way they worded it, it's
all
not
take
everybody, but
15 seconds. Well, I'll take 3 seconds and see what is
Yeah,
going
mine's
horribly
just not
awry.
loading anything.
yeah, I'm just getting this spinning thing, and that's
I'm not
it.
even getting that. I'm on the store, but it's nothing. There you go.
Yeah, that's
I mean, I
Sorry to
see
show
it.
everyone's
I see the
face.
store.
That's what I got.
Could be one like we're all where everybody's trying to share their screen. Yeah, nothing's loading for me either. Could be regional. Who knows? But how fun! Well, breaking news from the podcast. While you're there,
I'm not
sure
having
they're working.
any issues
Maybe they're
at
finally
the
adding a
store.
search bar.
Well, the
We
watching
can
crowd
hope.
play.
Clearly, they're finally. Yeah, probably.
Yeah,
The last
Grace-
time we lost
Grace-
access to Stadia, we all had new features.
Yeah, Grace has posted on the Reddit as
You-
well, so they're completely aware of it. So they're looking into it as we speak.
There you go. Well, guys, hopefully by the time you listen to this, if you're listening to it in the future, you've already got access to the store. If you're listening to this in like 2022 and there is no Stadia store, we're sorry. We hope you enjoyed Stadia while it was there. But hopefully in 2021, that awesome search bar they added in December of 2021 was worth it.
Just
So
don't
if
forget,
not, we
you
have
can't,
the
complain.
controllers to remember.
you can't Google. Well, you can't search for the word Stadia or Google because the whole internet will explode.
Heaven forbid a company that makes trillions of dollars on search. So, other news out there. Any other final thoughts on this? We certainly blew up the topic of Super Bomberman Iron Crowdplay.
So yeah,
Go on.
yeah. So
Go on.
I've been waiting for this for a while since it was announced on the last announcement. I forgot the name. I'm crap with names. Sorry. With the last Connect. That's the one. That is the one.
We've only had
Not the
4 of
Xbox
them,
one.
man.
Barely 4.
Yeah, 2.5 if you really count what people think about them.
Yes. But yeah, I was excited for this. Got to play it. Loved it. But then Avengers came out and stole my time. I managed to play Super Bomberman for almost 5 hours in total. Avengers is now at about 12 hours.
12 hours.
Nice. It's gonna be the same thing with Dom. We're gonna find Ash in a hole like 700 hours into Avengers, going, I finally beat the main storyline.
I swear you
Granted,
only
with
got the
Dan, it'll
game
be like,
yesterday.
I finally figured out how to run.
Yes.
So you've basically spent half of the day playing it.
I was up until like 4 a.m.
He slept 2 hours, got right back in and played some more.
Pretty much.
And of course, yes, sounds of Stadia. StadiaSource.com is up and running. So if you're jonesing for your Stadia fix and watching this podcast isn't enough already, StadiaSource.com, your number one source for Stadia news and reviews. Let's talk about a couple other bits of news that we got this week happening right now as we speak. Free Play Days Episode 2, The Crew 2, is going on. I already bought The Crew 2 because it's almost never not been on sale since it came out, but it's usually on a pretty decent sale. But it's free right now. So if you are on Stadia Pro, you've never bought it before, and you want to give it a try, this is the second round of these that we've had following the Borderlands 3 Free Play Days test 3-4 weeks ago. Ash, we know you're a big fan of this. Are you excited to potentially have some more folks to multiplayer with this weekend?
See,
Not that
that's
you'll be
the thing.
playing it because you're going to be playing Avengers.
I'm going to give it a go at some point this weekend. No, I've mentioned this before multiple times, but the only issue I've ever had with this game is the live events where you can team up with other people. I've tried it with Dan and his fiancée, Kaylee.
And
And we've
Dan
been in
never accelerates is the problem. He never actually speeds the car up. He just lets it roll slowly.
I do the speed limit,
Exactly. Sometimes too slow.
and I obey the stop signs and the traffic lights. And
But there's been times where we've been in the multiplayer queue for like 10, 15 minutes. Not even a single person has joined. Out of curiosity, one day I just left it running on my side window for an hour, and I had one person join and leave. Not enough people to even join to start that game mode.
you kind of
So
need your
hopefully-
own crew to play the crew.
Two.
Yeah,
You too need a crew for the Crew 2.
yeah.
Ooh.
But
I've
I'll
enjoyed
go
the
ahead
game.
and say that it is probably one of the better games, like visually on Stadia. It's a ton of fun to play, even if you're not really a fan of like racing games per se. As far as I'm aware, the whole of the USA has been mapped out in the game. Not. I don't think it's perfect.
Most major cities are in there. Many of the, like, if it's a city of a certain size, it's in there.
Yeah, and you can literally, you could spend an eternity just exploring the game,
just flying around. Like, pick a direction and go, and you'll end up.
Flight
Oh,
simulator.
there's the Grand Canyon. Nobody cares about your damn flight simulator, Adam.
That's not
It's
Stadia.
not on Stadia. So it
That's
doesn't
got
matter.
all the cities in it.
That would be so. What they need to do is Microsoft needs to bring Flight Simulator to Stadia, but it'll probably have to use Google Earth. So they probably wouldn't allow that. But maybe the Bing Weather API.
But it's just a super fun game, and the fact that obviously it's free to play, you can jump in right now. You don't have to download it. There's no updates. There's no patches. You know what I mean? It's just straight in. And don't forget, you get a free month of Stadia Pro as well. So if you're not already signed up to Stadia Pro, there's no excuse why you have to part with any cash whatsoever to play. And if you decide that you do like the game and you want to purchase it, you can just carry on. It saves you progress as well. Even if you decide a month down the line that you want to purchase the game, your game save will still be there. So, you know what I mean? If you haven't tried it yet, go ahead. You won't be
And it
disappointed.
now comes with DeLoreans.
And it now comes with DeLoreans, yes.
And has the dadgum DeLorean.
But they
that
don't fly.
has
in
been
it,
waiting on
and you
since
can't actually time
1985.
travel.
That's a lie. You can fly. You turn into a plane, you fly up, turn into a car, and you just fall down as a car.
That's falling with style.
Still counts.
Buzz Lightyear
Still a
is-
DeLorean in the air.
But by that rule, I can fly off the edge of a building once.
Isn't that what they did in the 18s?
Scarlet,
to
is this
fly
a-
a tank?
Scarlet, is this the kind of game on your playlist?
The Crew 2, no, but I really like the idea of the free play days, especially after you've just described that you can keep whatever you've saved and continue it if you do decide to play. So I mean, I tried long ago, tried like GTA on it's our PS2. Shoot, that was ages. And like, you know, pretty cars, and that was about it. I didn't understand it. So no, the Crew 2, no, not my thing, but I really like the idea of free play days. I'm hoping that they will do it for Valhalla, because I want to try it before I buy it, because I want to see how much they swear. But yeah.
Malaka, but whatever the version is from the
You know,
600s.
if they swear in Norse, I will even be okay with that. I just don't want to hear it in English.
Comes out in Runic.
Yeah, there you go.
Can you speak Runic?
Andrew in the chat. I have too many people who start with AN in my stream team. Another one of my streamers, Blue Bob's our super Bomberman hero for taking on like 2 hours longer than he was planning on streaming that game. Do y'all think the free play days ever launch for Stadia free users? And that's an interesting question. I'm of two minds about that. I think it would be smart. Like, obviously, just let somebody click the button to play. But I'm going to bet that Stadia won't do that, because the whole point is really for you to put your credit card down. Like, they want to have you on the hook for the $9.99 you forget to cancel. Or that you put your credit card down and then you get your 4 free days of the Crew 2 or Borderlands or Valhalla or whatever, and then you go, well, wait a minute, Destiny 2's on this, and oh hey, I could actually play Strange Brigade, that's kind of cool, and then you just start hitting claim on whichever one is interesting. It's perfectly fine, Carly. And then you start hitting play on that, and you're like, well, this is kind of killer. Wait a minute, they got Doom Eternal, it's only $30 on sale this week, well, I'll buy that. And then you're stuck, like you're in now. Like, I
will say that they did that to me. They totally did exactly that. We have Odyssey. We have no desire to replay Odyssey. But we have every desire to play the Atlantis DLC. Just for whatever the story is. And the whole pack of Odyssey and the DLC or the season passes or whatever they were was $30. It was everything more for half the cost of the original game, and I was so tempted to get it, but I decided not to. I refrained.
Oh,
It'll be on sale again. It's one of those ones.
Probably.
It'll circle back around. I'm sure.
Probably.
Apparently, Rock and Rock is referencing me flinging myself off a building. Rock, I
Flying.
am not that kind of YouTuber. Flying, excuse me, flying. Hey, Douglas Adams, I just have to miss before I land. Is all I have to do. Hitchhiker's Guide fans out there. Hey, Rock, thanks for joining us in the chat tonight.
you don't need to take your camera, Avery. You'll have Logan Paul down the bottom.
That is true.
Not an ideal way to get views on YouTube. We'll get views, but then who's going to host
Not
the
through
podcast?
him. Anyone but him. Not as in Dan, as in Logan Paul.
Any other thoughts on free play days? It's
They'd
cool.
be good.
I mean, the more they do it, the better. Let's keep it coming, guys. And I will also say, last game was Borderlands 3, which is, looter shooter, vaguely RPG mechanic kind of thing. The Crew 2, racing, dirt bike, flying, very different game. So I like that they're choosing games in different styles, because if somebody had said, well, the Borderlands, I don't care. I don't want to play shooters. I've never liked shooters. Well, this is something different. I'm going to bet that they'll probably do the same thing with like a Mortal Kombat or or like an NBA 2K21. So, I would imagine they're going to keep doing different styles, just so that they can keep attracting different audiences there.
Farming sim.
One would imagine. Yes, farming. There will be no greater draw to Stadia than the tens of people that will be interested in Farming Simulator 19.
Do you know what makes me laugh is right. You've kind of seen it in the wider gaming community. When someone mentions Stadia in the wider gaming community, everybody says, "Oh, I'm sure the 10 people that play Stadia will be okay waiting or something." We do exactly the same to Farming Simulator.
But that one's true.
We are hypocrites.
So the why do you hate you? We should all team up and hate this person meme. That's usually PlayStation, Xbox versus Stadia. We need to do the same thing and just make it like Doom Eternal and Red Dead Redemption. But the real villain here is Farming Simulator. Let's not post that, because then that company will not give us any more press, which would not be good. In the chat, Red Dead Redemption 2, another perfect game for free play days, because it's a super popular game and very highly lauded, and it's a different theme again than kind of other ones in that realm. So yeah,
I might actually play it then if they did.
Please do. Please buy it. So
I bought it
get me
because
to play
everybody.
that game for years.
You can get £10 off. You've still got the voucher. Use it.
Dan's never buying games. Dan doesn't buy any. Carly doesn't claim any. We don't play Stadia here on the Stadia Source podcast. Nobody actually cares. No, it's fine. Whatever works for you. The way you play is great. Crata got a big release this week. The new features including enhancements to the sci-fi set, player collision, just in case you didn't want to run into people, new game styles, the Tycoon game styles. Crata seems to continue to be very engaged and releasing quite a bit of things for the community. Has anybody checked out any of the new content? I'm not 100% certain if it's actually released yet. One thinks I could look that up as the host of a podcast that talks about Stadia news. But has anybody been checking out Cradia on Stadia lately?
Can we rename it that?
It's a missed opportunity. Like, clearly a missed opportunity.
No, nobody.
And apparently nobody cares about Crata. Moving on.
No, I think it was always going to be one of those hit and miss games, and I think those that are invested in Crater, they still very much are. I still see games coming out for Crater all the time, but I think from what I've gathered in the wider Stadia community, it's probably not as good as we hoped it was going to be. That's not to say it won't ever be, especially with updates like this as well. So watch this space, I guess.
Yeah, it's like, for me, I'm nearly on max level on it. I think I'm on level 41 out of 50, unless they've bumped that up now as well. for me personally, the pre-made games, they were kind of a bit boring. Whereas I enjoyed it more for the creation side, to just go wild and build what you wanted. For that side, I love it. But I've just been playing a lot of other games recently.
I think it's one of those ones where it's a game that suffers from the lack of native streaming. If there was, and crowd play, if they brought in crowd play for mutual building, the state share thing, whatever, and streaming, like it needs creators to really get behind it and construct things in the community and all that kind of stuff. And there's certainly, Andy Morphs and some others that are Crata diehards that are really, Twiz has taken up the Crata mantle and built several things that are super popular. I think dude won some money off of that in the prize fund. Several folks have. So, but it really does need, there's gonna have to be a few very popular people to really champion it really hard and make it easier for others to jump in and try it, for it to actually take, I think.
I think that game might have a new lease of life when people start to understand how to make better games in it. Because once people like your boy Twiz and and Andy Morphs, I'm not saying they're rubbish, but they're only going to get better, is what I'm trying to say. No.
Love you, Twiz. Love you, Andy. Your stuff is shit, but love you very much.
No, what I'm trying to say is, obviously they're good now, but they're only ever going to get better. And as they get better, other people might then see the possibilities of Crata and realize that actually you can make some pretty intricate games in this, and it's better than what we thought. So I just think we need to give it time to mellow and give people time to get to grips with how to use it to its full potential.
Well, it's
and
like
Go ahead, Ash, then Carly.
Well, it's like when Duncan was with us a while ago. Me and him spoke just between me and him. And at the time, we were thinking that the game may have been released a little bit too soon. That it might have needed a little bit more time to obviously build itself up and whatnot. But yeah.
I wonder if there aren't just already plenty of world building games out there anyway. I understand that Crata is different in its own regard, but we have already these other games that exist where people are building their own levels for games that they enjoy. I appreciate the openness and the variety that can happen inside of Crata, but I mean, I love Mario and there's Mario Maker. And I love the idea of creating games, but I can't create a Mario level worth crap. I'm that person who would enjoy Crata after there's thousands of games that people have already built and they've been rated and people are already sharing it all over the world. I'm not that person who's going to go in and build something because I like the idea, but I know I can't do it.
Well, and Mario Maker is a great example of a similar game where that's the other thing that Crata is missing is the aspect that captures the viewer. Because Mario Maker, half the fun of that is watching these insanity things that people have built and then trying to speed run. And if you miss any one of those jumps by 1.2 milliseconds, you're screwed. And watching those videos is really fun. And we don't have that yet because we don't have the native YouTube streaming. And so it's kind of tricky to do that. Sorry, Rafe was the other person I was thinking of, and Project Storm also Crata winners in there. And part of it is time. Thanks, Ray. Part of that is time. Roblox, it gets compared to quite frequently, and Roblox came out 14 years ago. So, Crata's been out for 4 months. That's the whole thing. Stadia's been out for 10 months. It all needs time. It's still very much in the oven. But
the way that I see Crata, because I've dabbled in game dev before, and when I heard about Crata coming out, I was like, oh, this will be interesting. And then when I heard that you could do scripting, I was like, oh, good. So it's going to give real freedom. But then as things got closer to it and it eventually released, I was like, right, I know that this is going to require effort, a lot of effort. If I want to do all the little things that I've got in my head, it's going to require a lot of sit down and thinking. And lately, I can't be bothered to do much thinking, so I've just said, I'll do it another time. I'll do it another time. And the way I see it is, we've all played Line Rider, haven't we? You know, the little guy in a sled
Back in
that
the Flash
rides on the lines? Yeah.
I'll let you off with that one, yes.
So we've all played Line Rider, or you've probably seen someone play Line Rider. I'd be very hard pressed to find anyone who doesn't know what Line Rider is. But when you make Line Rider stuff, it's a couple of lines. You might accidentally be able to make the rider do a flip. But most of the time, it's going to end up with him face planting or doing all sorts of weird, wacky stuff. Whereas you go on YouTube and you'll find people who are experts at Line Rider. They've made these elaborate line drawings that
setting them to
the rider,
music.
exactly,
Or whatever.
and that's I think the problem with Crater at the moment is the people who are using it. There aren't enough experts in Lua or any of the other coding languages. There may be some people who know the various languages that are used within Lua, but I can't imagine there's many people who specialize in Lua who are using Stadia, because we've got quite a narrow and shallow player base. Shallow in terms of quantity, not in terms of personality, of course.
Oh my
Lots of
god,
big
I just can't deal with
personalities.
this Kratos stuff. I just
But
give me Barbie
I just think
Dreamworks
there isn't
3.
enough experts. There's not enough people who know what they're doing with a game like that to be able to explore that creativity. It's too much for the average person.
Well, and it's also my understanding that so Crata is Stadia only right now. Not only is there less of a player base, well actually that's kind of the point I'm trying to make. Levels are being created and we still don't have a very big player base to play those levels. So there's not as much hype for the people who are just wanting to play creations. We can't have people just come in. Sure, maybe they can get their 1 month free trial. How many people have already used that though? Not everybody is like me and has 5 different emails. So, they've already used up their trial. They're not going to want to, come in under some different account just to try out for a month levels that people have created on Crata. So it's almost too narrow for a game like this to really kind of flourish.
See, now I'm going to have to be the bad guy a little bit, which is against what Adam just said about not many experts know Lua that well. Whereas if you look at games like Gary's Mod, where the majority of the mods and stuff on there are community driven, that again is also made with Lua, or at least it was back in the day. I don't know if it still is now or not. But with stuff like that, you've got people who make TARDISes that work like the actual TARDIS, where you walk in and it teleports you to another room where you're inside the TARDIS, but then you could fly the actual TARDIS while in that room, and making stargates and teleports and stuff like that. So I think it's less of getting people who are experts or know everything there is to do with Lua, and more of just people going on experimenting, see what they can make, and then obviously using someone else's work to then merge with yours and then make something huge.
Yes, but of course, those people can't play it right now, or they can for a month.
Can if they get Stadia.
They can if they get Stadia, but they can't if, just as Scarlett said, it's a limited pool. As Scarlett and Adam both said, it's a very shallow pool. So it would be really kick-ass if the folks who are the top modders on Gary's Mod said, you know what, let's go give this Crata thing a try. That would even probably actually help get some of the attention on it, but we just don't have the pool for it yet.
I think you've both kind of, Ash and Scarlett have both kind of made valid points, and Adam, sorry, as well. But I'm going to address a couple of them and go against what Ash has said and be the bad guy against Ash instead.
You live long enough to be the villain.
Yeah. So I believe Crater is not just going to be Stadia exclusive forever. I think it's coming out on other platforms as well.
Yeah.
As far as I'm aware, correct me if I'm wrong, because I could be, any creation that you make on Stadia will also then be available on the other creator platform or on the other platform. So if it comes out on Xbox, for example, so you may find that when it becomes available on more platforms, we then have a wider base of people that can create games, not just for their own respective platforms, but for wider platforms as well. I'm wondering if Avery's been hit by a storm now or just disappeared, but we'll carry on. Then also, to say about Adam's point as well, and the amount of experts in Lua, and this is where I kind of go against what Ash said as well. The amount of people that are probably fluent in Lua are probably using those skills elsewhere, like you say, Gary's mod. Or anybody that's got game programming experience in general, not just in Lua, but just with the concepts of things like gravity and shoot, you know what I mean? All the math and stuff that goes into making games and stuff. They're probably using it to actually make games rather than to make creator creations, if that makes sense. So obviously creator's just a tool that allows you to create games. Like it's almost like an entry-level tool that has the ability to go further. People that actually can make games are making games in things like Unity and so on and so forth. So I think that's probably why we haven't got a wealth of experience when it comes to making games in Creator.
And that will grow over time, you know, as the group continues to get bigger, and you know, it'll grow over time. So a couple of other pieces of news out in the world. Lots of news from Ubisoft this week. We are getting an Ubisoft Forward next week, in time for us to talk about it here on the podcast, where we are most definitely going to hear about Gods and Monsters, which has been renamed to Immortals Phoenix Rising. Those of you who are familiar with earlier in the summer, it's not Orpheus, even though that's what leaked out for about half a minute before everybody and their grandmother got a copyright strike from Ubisoft for posting the thing they launched, which is not our fault. But it has been renamed, so we have a name on it. It's a name. It's a lot of name. There's a lot of name there, but we're going to learn more about it on next Thursday, and we'll talk about Uplay Plus in just a minute. But I'm looking forward to it. I think it's a cool game. I like anything kind of set in that general vicinity. They basically took, they've already done Assassin's Creed from the real humans point of view, so now they're just like, let's just go dive right into the Gods and Monsters side of it too. Are we looking forward to the Ubisoft Forward?
Yeah, for sure. It's like we've all known for a while now that Ubisoft are huge fans of Stadia as it is anyway. We've got the new Assassins coming up towards next year. Then we've also got Watch Dogs coming out next month, is it? So who knows what else could come up.
This would be the perfect time for them to give release dates on whatever they can. Certainly, with Watch Dogs being that close, if we don't already have one, we might have one. I looked over here to be like, yeah. If anybody in the chat knows, Ray's.
I'm sure it was November. Most of the big games I thought were coming out in November.
If it doesn't get pushed back, like everybody else. Jem has a new idea for the name of this game. I actually clicked on the wrong one because the chat moved too fast. Immortals, Phoenix Rising, Modern Warfare, Black Ops, Horizon, Infinity War. Which I think is perfect. It's a great name. Great name for this title. Gem, spot on. Is gonna be fantastic. But give me back Gods and Monsters. I agree. Gods and Monsters was great. It says exactly what the game is. It's Gods and Monsters. What the hell is a Phoenix? Phoenix. It's fine.
Phoenix.
Fine.
So my husband and I are not happy with this name change because it feels like they've taken a game that they've shown to be artistic and, well, maybe not a simple story. It looks like a simple game in terms of just the way it actually physically looks. And so naming it Gods and Monsters implied that it was going to, I don't know, they didn't go crazy with Breath of the Wild. That's just what it is. It's Breath of the Wild. It's not, deluxe edition SX blah blah blah. So now they've changed it to Immortals Phoenix Rising, and now it makes me feel like this game is going to be something super intense. And while I'm okay with intense games, I don't want to go into something and feel like I'm now going to be lied to. I want it back to Gods and Monsters.
It'll be interesting to see what. Oh, thank you, Jam Stadia, Watch Dogs Legion, 29th October. It'll be interesting to see what the reaction for the. It also just feels like the name. It feels like the name of a free-to-play MMO from China, with tons of microtransactions and the exact same sprites as every other free-to-play MMO from China, and a super crazy complex UI. Get 400 free mega gems when you sign up for Immortals Phoenix Rising on the Google Play Store. That's what this sounds like.
I just realized though, so Team Stadia Play, I call our logo the Phoenix Rising. Therefore, Gods and Monsters stole it from me.
You were there first.
Wow.
You heard, guys. We're there first.
If you can't be right, it's sue them.
For me,
we clearly need to get Ubisoft on the phone with Scarlett to cross promote.
yeah.
The Immortals Phoenix Rising version of the Phoenix Rising logo.
You'll be in the credits at the
man.
end of the game. Don't worry.
Of course, Zach here does not agree. He approves of the new name. Gods and Monsters felt too generic. Zach, you may know from his fascinating Twitter discussions. He and I have had a lot of those. A lot of those very deep conversations on Twitter at 11 o'clock at night, where everybody else is like, "Guys, shut up! Just stop."
Yeah, especially when you follow both of you with tweet notifications on, and you hear your phone going ping, 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 and they're bloody at it again, aren't they?
It's a lot. It's okay though. It's okay. It's all about promoting the goodness. Regardless, I love seeing these shows, and Ubisoft's been doing. I think this is their third or fourth one this year. We just had one 4 weeks ago or 5 weeks ago, or it could have been 7 months ago. Time doesn't work properly anymore. Love you too, Zach. I love those discussions, even if we don't always agree. I definitely love those discussions. Follow him on Twitter, everybody. I can't remember what his tag is, but just Google him, Zach Laidlaw. You'll find
I think it was
it. There you go. Perfect. Zed. What's Zed? Isn't that the bad guy from Power Rangers? So the other thing that we've had lately is a few more strings in the code, thanks to teardowns not only by Adam, 95 Google, Gem Stadia, hello gamers, or what's up, guy? I even got your tagline wrong, man. Sorry, Gem. Hey, but now you can't sue me. That Uplay Plus now has even more references in the Stadia app itself, or on the Stadia site. I can't recall whether it was I think it was the teardown in the app. So, we heard about Uplay Plus last year. It was one of the first things they ever announced about Stadia. It is now not last year, and we have an Ubisoft event happening in 7 days. You guys think speculation warning? Do you guys think there's any chance we'll hear more about Uplay Plus on Stadia at the event next week?
I'm going to say no, because F you, that's why.
See, I'm going to take your speculation warning and set it on fire, because if I remember right, they did say that it would come to Stadia in 2020, which is now coming to the end of the year. I'm guessing this will be their last Ubisoft event, unless
December 30th at 10 p.m. is when we're getting this.
That's when Stadia would announce
For my
it.
birthday.
Oh, happy very early birthday.
Or very late.
Pointlessly early birthday. I guess, too, I could also be so belated for your birthday.
But yeah, I think that there'll be some kind of announcement of it at this event. Whether they say the date or not, I don't know. But obviously, coming towards the end of the year, they'll need to say something.
I think it's
Can I
important
just-
to say as well that if they don't announce it, you know what I mean, keep those expectations in check. They never said they were going to.
Never.
If they don't, then they don't. And yeah, but I don't think they will.
I'm going to throw a spanner here, and I'm going to say I don't think we're actually going to see very much Stadia-related content, apart from the stuff that we know is coming. I don't think we're going to see much that's to do with Stadia, because we had EA and we've had do you know what? It's easy just to say we've had loads of gaming events. It's that time of year where they're all having their big YouTube videos. And we've seen, a handful of Stadia logos in them. I'm not going to be surprised, even though Ubisoft have even said that they play test their games using Stadia. I would not be surprised if we might get 1 or 2 Stadia logos, and no talk of Uplay Plus on Stadia. Obviously, I'd love to see it come, but I wouldn't be surprised. Stadia wants to do all this themselves. They want to be the ones holding the card. We've even had Ash had confirmation from, was it Gunsport, where they were told by Google not to announce the game.
Yeah,
and
basically,
you explain.
They had no idea that Gunsport was even announced to come for as a pro game until I chucked an article in there to be like, here you go. And they did say that Google have mentioned that they wanted to be the first ones to announce it. But we have seen in the past where it came up, I think it was the day before the pro games came out a while ago. That's when Stadia announced pro games for that month back then. But because of how late it came in the month, the actual dev for whichever game it was, I can't remember, it was a while ago, they just said it themselves that, just to let you know, our game's coming on pro.
Do you think there's something in a contract somewhere that they would sign that say Stadia has the right to at any point in time make a game pro without prior notice or approval?
No.
There's if it's any for what we know of how it works on other platforms, which there's not been this, it's not public knowledge, but you hear things. There's usually either a fixed cut of each what would have been the sale of the game, or there's just a check that goes out. Here's $600,000 for us to use this game on pro for 2 months. So if that is, it's probably, I would imagine it's in the contract that they could do it, but there's gonna have to be like the account manager for Ubisoft or whoever is going to call them and say, hey, by the way, we're gonna trigger pro on you on September 1st. And so keep an eye out on your bank balance for that check. It has to be contracted, because it just has to be. Like, Google can't just be like, by the way, everybody gets this for free. And then they're going, you did what to our game now?
But they will give the developer or the publisher, they'll give the publisher warning. They're not just going to say, oh, by the way, your game's free for our subscribers.
Well, it is Stadia.
They will definitely give warning.
You'd imagine that is how this works, but I'd love to say that I can't imagine a scenario in which a developer like Necrosoft Games or one of the small ones, like, they wouldn't do it to like EA or Ubisoft or Take-Two, but you could see like the gentleman behind Herringbone Games, the guy that made Stacks on Stacks on Stacks, just wakes up one day and suddenly finds out that his game is on pro. Like, you could almost see that happening. Apparently, and it's happened with other companies too. Epic Games discounted Borderlands 3. No, Jim, I don't remember that, but glad that you did. So easily as possible. Jim also wants us to keep those expectations very high.
What do you know, Jim? What do you know?
Jim, so if you haven't checked out Jim Stadia, head over to his channel, because he's literally like, okay, I found this file, and if you go to stadia.google.com/store/play/162/this/that, you'll find that, and he just has all those memorized. It's just, he's not even looking at it on the screen.
I think
like
Rock
earlier database.
Rock earlier predicted that it was Gem that broke the store, which is now working apparently, from what I've seen in the chat. So
because Gem's over here with us and has finally left Stadia.
Gem's
alone
hacking
for
the
day.
store, and that's why it's not working.
I guarantee you, right now, he will have his Notepad++ or his Chrome inspect source or whatever it is open,
Microsoft
scrolling through whilst watching us. Guarantee you.
He just likes watching the world burn.
Jem just wants to set the world on fire. There you go. That's about
I'm out to put you into a timeout. You'll time out. There you go. Come back.
Well, guys, that's it for the news this week. I mean, there's a lot of news, and we're going to get more, particularly with the Ubisoft Forward coming out and all that. So I think you know what that means, everybody. Nerf him. I think you know what that means, everybody. Stab your chin with your own spiked collar. It's time for the hot topic. You like that one? Was that a good one? Better than the other ones? It's, it's getting better every week. It's getting better every week. The question that I want to pose to the crew this week is
The crew too.
we've had a lot of discussion this week. One of the top stories, if you check out Cloudy with a Chance of Games, there's a fantastic op-ed in there about the announcement that PUBG has been removed from India with a whole bunch of other games. Anything that has a Chinese connection, India federally banned them, and so it sparked a lot of discussion in the community over, hey, Stadia needs to jump in there, and they need to get in because hey, we have PUBG on Stadia, and so it's an opportunity. We need to get in there, and so it kind of led me down this rabbit hole of thought, and we'll talk more about that specifically of how does Stadia grow from here? Where do they? Charles liked it. Thank you, Charles. I appreciate you. I appreciate you liking my terrible hot topic puns every week. It's not even a pun; it's just a bad joke. And so the question that I want to pose to the panel tonight for the hot topic is: how does Stadia grow from here? We've seen a fairly steady trajectory of Stadia over time, with a big spike in April as when everything kind of went free. But it's been a relatively steady climb. If you follow like the Stadia subreddit, for example, the numbers just tick up over time, just slowly tick up over time. And part of that is because Stadia is in such a limited number of countries at the moment. But I wanted to start by kind of hitting on the India and the countries thing and kind of go from there. So, what are your thoughts? Is Stadia missing opportunities by not being in more places, and why do you think that is? Adam, I know you and I have had chats on this, particularly in the Slack on that subject. So I wanted to get your thoughts on Stadia's presence in the market and its growth and your thoughts on that.
Okay, yeah, I'll try not to go too in depth with this because this is a topic I could talk about all day. So first of all, forget about India. Stadia will release in India, but they're going to do it at their pace because India doesn't have the internet infrastructure for Stadia yet. I think Google said that they wanted to put smartphones in the hands of everyone in India. And they've also invested something like, off the top of my head, something like 5 billion into Indian infrastructure to try and help get that connectivity there. So India is probably half a decade away at the earliest, I imagine. Maybe they'll be able to expedite it and release it to a small group of people within India, but I can't see it going to the whole of India. In terms of other European countries, I certainly think that they're coming soon, and places in South America, Brazil, population of, I think I remember seeing someone say 200 million. I think it was 200 million. Apologies if that's wrong, but South America is a pretty big continent. Is it a continent or is it? Yeah, it's a continent. Of course, it's a continent.
It's a very large condiment.
So yeah, I think South America certainly needs to be the next big step. There's got to be a lot of money to be made in South America in comparison to the smaller European countries, but they're definitely going to grow in terms of country support from here. As to answer the actual question that's right there, my thoughts on how Stadia grows from here is it just carries on doing what it's doing, ignoring us, just ignoring the tantrums and the throwing all the toys out of the pram because we can't get our own way or we're not happy with what we've got. Just carry on doing what they do best and being a multi-trillion-dollar company. You know, they must be doing something right. So they'll carry on doing it how they see best.
And
when it comes to infrastructure.
Sorry, Dan. It's the BRIC market you hear a lot about. BRIC, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and all four of those are countries that are not currently represented in Stadia, but are also countries that are developing in terms of internet infrastructure and Western influenced businesses and things of that nature. Go ahead, Dan.
I was just going to say, when you've got something like Stadia, which relies heavily on the infrastructure of the internet, you're going to want to make sure that you're launching it in those places that can take full advantage of it, because the problem is if they launch it in a place that doesn't have a good internet infrastructure, it's going to look bad on Stadia, even though it's not actually them that's at fault, because people will say, well, we can't play Stadia here, it doesn't work. You know what I mean? So I think what they're going to do is they're going to focus more on the places that it's going to work well before they expand. But at the same time, I also think, well, you know, I mean, there probably are people or places within these developing countries where it might actually work fantastic. And, you know, I mean, people do have a good internet connection and they're missing out because they're not going to launch in those places. And we all know that using Stadia on a VPN can give you dodgy results anyway. So there's not really a easy workaround for it.
I've just had a quick thought, right? And I want to put this question to not only the five of you, right, but also to everyone in the chat.
There's four.
So, okay, yeah, the
He's
four
himself.
others. I'm including myself, but I won't actually give my answer. I'll just think about my answer. Anyway, so as we know, Google haven't done anything yet, actually. Scratch that. As we know, Microsoft have partnered with Samsung to try and promote xCloud. I think it's if you buy one of the new Samsung devices, you get 3 months or 6 months of xCloud or something like that. Blah, 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 blah. Right? Google have partnered with, at one point, they BT, wasn't it? If you signed up for BT, I think.
BT, Verizon.
Phone company recently, I forgot the name.
I think Deutsche Telekom or Orange has also had one of those.
Here's the question for
ROG as well.
Here's the question for you, for you and everyone watching, right? Who do you think is going to snap up a deal with Starlink? Because that is going to be, that's going to be a real money bringer.
Hasn't Elon already kind of like promoted Stadia in a way on one of the monitors or something? I know it's been shown to work on in the Tesla cars itself. People have.
I vaguely know what you're on about, but I can't exactly remember what it was.
Yeah, on one of the short tests or something that had it on the screen. It most likely was Photoshop, but if not, you never know.
Yeah, actually, it might have been a really, really good deep fake. To be fair.
I'm going to Google this.
You ain't going to find it. It's going to take you all night to find it. But I know what you're on about. I have seen it as well. And it did look real. So if it is fake, then props to whoever made it. But yeah. Starlink won't be around for a while. Well, you've got some of the biggest on satellite internet.
Yeah, I've used satellite internet in other contexts, and it's the same as anything else. If you happen to live in a city where you have no obstructions whatsoever, I've had there's an American company that does satellite television called DirecTV. I actually worked for them for quite some time, and you have to position. They are literally using this dish that is about this big. Those of you who are listening to the podcast love this, that I'm doing visual things on the podcast. And you have to point it at a point in space. There is a latitude or longitude, I can't remember which one, where it has to be on. So it has to be pointed at the 99th parallel, the 100th parallel, the 103rd, or the 99, 101, 100, and 103 are the four parallels that you have to point this thing at. So if that means you need to mount it on the back of your house, then you have to mount it on the back of your house. If the back of your house points into a forest, then you're not going to have a good experience. If the back of your house is pointed at a mountain, or if you live in an apartment complex where you're not allowed to, it's not going to work. So Starlink is a cool idea, but just like anything else, it's only going to work for the people it works for. And so I just don't think it's the solution. Ray apparently needs my help to point his dish. Ray, call that 1-800-DIRECTV, and they will absolutely tell you exactly where you need to point that Mega Max dish.
I don't want to know.
Okay. I think, part of it is also, and I 100% agree with everything y'all said. It's not only that there has to be internet infrastructure in place, but there also just has to be Google infrastructure. Like, Google has to have points of presence and edge nodes and server farms all across the country. Because if it's in Mumbai, or it's in Brasilia, or it's in Rio or wherever, or it's in Shanghai and what, but it's not in the far reaches of the country, then you're going to catch a lot of population, but you're also going to get a lot of people who just can't play, and that's not going to be a good experience for them. Or they're going to be playing but trying to reach 150 miles to the nearest point of presence. And right now, Stadia has over Meg, welcome to the stream, and Link also, big shout out to you as well in the chat. Google has more than 4,000 points of presence in the United States. So there are 200 per state minimum, or what? I can't do math. It's math. But there are many of them. 80 times 50. I did the math backwards in my head while I was talking out loud. So you've got a good opportunity, unless you live in like Texas, where there's a lot of space to spread out, or Washington State or something was a very large. You've probably got a Google node somewhere near you, particularly if you're in any one of the places where 90% of the population live. If you're in the middle of Wyoming, sorry to all of our Wyoming listeners. I hope you can somehow figure out how to get a good Stadia experience. Or our poor one of our streamers, Andrew, has a beautiful view of the mountains from where he lives in the middle of absolute nowhere, and so he's I think also churning the satellite internet too. I think also some of it is these features need to get out there. For Stadia to grow faster, they've got to deliver on the promises that they put out on day one. The crowd play, the crowd choice, the YouTube streaming, all of those features have got to get out there in order for Stadia to continue the trajectory, because all you're hearing right now is, like we talked in earlier, where is it? There's an article up on Stadia Source right now. Dan, I believe it's your editorial of where's crowd play? Like, where are these features that we said we were getting? Carly, I know you've mentioned some of these things are features that you would like to see implemented as well, and they're just not there yet. What are your thoughts on kind of what those aspects of Stadia are that really need to get out there in order for us to continue to see those spikes?
Definitely needs to be YouTube integration. And I've been saying that since day one, and I will continue to say it until they make my prediction true, because we have, especially with the shutdown in Mixer, where a lot of new gamers were migrating into, then their only options were Twitch or YouTube, but YouTube without direct integration, and that makes it harder for people like me who don't have elaborate setups like all of you fancy people do. The only reason I'm able to stream anything that I play on my PS4 is that there's Twitch built right in, and so that's why I started using Twitch. Stadia needs this integration that they've been talking about for forever.
And that's honestly how it's going to get so much attention.
Yeah, we saw a glimpse of it. I think it was Juggernaut. Was streaming, and he brought up the menu, and we actually caught a glimpse of the YouTube streaming. So you can either
stream directly to YouTube button.
Yeah, or you can use your OBS, like your own setup, if you've got a fancy one as well. So, it's definitely there.
Well, I'd like it to be almost how it is on my PS4. So I go onto my PS4, I start my game, I press share, and I say put it onto Twitch. So I want to be able to go into my CCU on my TV, start a game, open up a menu, and say stream it to YouTube, and that's it. I can't play on my laptop. My laptop only opens up about this far. And I don't play on my phone because I can't do touchscreen because it gets in the way of everything. So I play on my TV the most, but I can't share anything on my TV. It's also an old TV. So I need it. And, granted, there are people who can do whatever they want. They can go as complicated as they want. But if we're trying to market to the general people, meaning people like me who are moms, who are business owners, who are just, we're trying to fit in games wherever we can, it needs to be simplified.
Yeah, the quicker they can get that feature out, the faster we get to a moment where it's the democratization. I've said this before. We've talked about this before. It's the democratization of gaming. Anybody can line together when there's crowd play. Anybody can jump in and have fun interacting with their favorite streamers when it's crowd choice. Those features have got to get there in order for Stadia to really take off. But once it does, like, can you imagine if there was a one-click button to start Bomberman streaming with crowd play, with crowd choice, and you've got a Ninja or a Dan TDM or a Jacksepticeye who just goes, why not? Let's do it. Boom. And then suddenly there is a channel with 7 million subscribers playing Stadia and having a blast, and everybody goes, well, if he likes Stadia, I've got to give it a try. Particularly because
we brought up Krita earlier, right? Sorry.
Go ahead,
okay.
Scarlett.
Go right ahead.
Am I supposed to be going? Okay. We brought up Krita earlier, and we want to get more people playing that and creating on that, right? And people don't have a direct way of just showing it off. Hey, come hang out with me while I build something stupid, ridiculous. I like to talk while I play my game. I talk about the stupidest things, but people come and the game is kind of more the background thing. We're trying to build a community with Stadia, and the community is harder to reach when we don't have something built in to help stream it and share it, because it's free advertising putting up something simple for people to be able to stream through. And I don't know, maybe it's probably harder than it seems to me. I only have like basic coding skills, but it's got to be easier than what Stadia is making it out to be. And we're almost a year in and there's still no YouTube integration.
These really are the number, like, the day one features. Phil Harrison standing in front of the big white screen at GDC saying, here are the amazing things that you can only do on Stadia, and you can't do them yet. In fact, none of the amazing things. Crowd play, crowd choice, YouTube streaming, and the assistant. Though, like, none of them are working yet. And
Click to play is working.
Click to play. Click to play.
Has anyone told Eddie?
True state share. Zach, not sure why YouTube integration wasn't prioritized for crowd play. That's exactly what I would have thought the order would be. I would have thought it would have been, let's get people streaming on YouTube and then let's let people join them. Not let's make people have to figure out how OBS works. And it could very well be that the easy part was crowd play. And if that's fine, sometimes you make the choice to work on the 100-hour dev ticket and not the 1,000-hour dev ticket. And that's fine. I work in software engineering. It happens all the time. But still, like, you're YouTube. You
I
are
would have
YouTube.
thought
You
they'd
are
come out
YouTube.
at the same time, hand in hand, because, I mean, say if you're a popular streamer and, some sort of celebrity on YouTube or something like that, if you're not streaming, like, you know what I mean? Why are you going to jump into someone's game who's not currently streaming at that point in time? You know what I mean? Obviously, they could have their own streaming setups. They could be circumventing, you know what I mean, like we have with StreamYard and people using OBS and stuff like that. I get that. But, you know what I mean? It's such a core feature to me. YouTube is one of the probably biggest Google products that there is. Why aren't they using that to the most of their ability, given that effectively Stadia and YouTube are the same thing. It's just streaming a video.
Andrew with the observation, we say Google knows what they're doing, but gaming is a whole new segment. Could they be wrong? Oh, absolutely. They're definitely getting things wrong. Like, I don't think anybody in our community would doubt that, but it doesn't necessarily mean that they think they're doing anything wrong, or that their investors think they're doing anything wrong, or their CFOs or their directors of engineering or any of those folks. And that gets to it's something that I've said before, that I got a little bit of flack for, but I'll say it again because who cares? Google doesn't have to care what we think. Google will make more money by the time I finish this sentence than all 5 of us on this podcast combined. Yep, they just outdid our entire yearly salary by the time I finish that sentence. So they don't have to. But I will say, you kind of sparked another thought for me, Dan. Is like, I mentioned earlier, what if, Jacksepticeye or TanTDM or whoever hit stream, what if Ryan Reynolds, who might like to play a video game, hits go live on Stadia? What if Alton Brown, or name other celebrities here? I don't know why I'm drawing a blank on celebrity names. The lead singer of, Chris Martin from Coldplay or whatever else, also happens to play games in his spare time, and somebody said, hey, did you check out the Stadia thing? And he pulls it up and he hits stream on his channel with 30 million viewers who have nothing to do with gaming whatsoever. That's how Stadia gets to that next billion people that they want to get to that are not the core gaming constituency. Gwyneth Paltrow goes live on Stadia.
And of course, they might not have super complicated setups as well. And they just want to go live in 10 seconds and not have to worry about it. So
I'd watch Judi Dench go live on Stadia. That'd be interesting. Sorry, Dame
I can't
Judi
get
Dench.
these goddamn stacks to stack on themselves. Absolutely hilarious. I'd watch that too. Maggie Smith and Judi Dench doing a Stadia stream. I'm done. We're good. My life is fulfilled at that point. Jack Black, Henry Cavill. I mean, folks in the crowd. Clearly, yes, that is the feature that moves things forward. Something else that moves things forward for Stadia. I'm gonna do the last bit of the hot topic and then make a segue. Is Stadia's stuff, the stuff that isn't ours. When you look at Fall Guys, the community that is formed around Fall Guys and the sheer volume of cosplay and graphic design and all of that has been generated from this is incredibly free media for Fall Guys. Fall Guys has to tweet like once a day at this point, because at this point they can just retweet 7,000 other things that other people, hey, I drew Solid Snake merged with Fall Guys. Hey, I did Fall Guys, but it's Ninja, and then like they just get all this free media from everybody because it's super huge. And Stadia doesn't have that yet either. It doesn't really have a game that would draw that. Hopefully Outcasters will. It does have creators who make really awesome stuff that are not gameplay videos, such as graphic designers that make really cool graphic design things for Stadia and promote the community through merch and all that kind of stuff. But if you're not walking around the mall, which doesn't exist right now, in a Team Stadia hoodie or a Team Stadia NetGator or whatever, then there's no way for you to you can get Xbox merch, you can get PS4 merch, and I don't think anybody's gonna care about those either. Like, I've got plenty of Nintendo shirts, from that. But if I was to walk around the mall and notice somebody with a Stadia sweatshirt or t-shirt or backpack or whatever, I'd be like, holy crap, Stadia? There's somebody that actually plays that's not me and the 5 other people that I talk to every day. Clearly, we need more of that. Scarlett, you've been, obviously working to rep the brand, so to speak. Even though you got to be careful and you got to make a different with the Z and stuff. Tell me your take on what role stuff creators, not just video, but all of the other world, can play in this.
I think people like to collect. So in the beginning, they sent out all of those packs that, people got jacket or not jacket. They got so I got like a shirt, a backpack, and a water bottle. I didn't need any of that stuff. But what was so cool was that they thought to send it anyway. And my Twitter feed exploded. For some reason, everybody thought I was popular. But what was really cool was that it was just, I had something that I could carry around with me, and somebody would be like, oh, hey, Stadia. And be like, yeah, that's cool. And then, we'd go on our merry way. In a world that is very consumer, having access to stuff to kind of show off your pride of whatever it is, a sport, a game system, whatever. It's kind of cool. It's kind of saying, I take enough pride in this to be able to show it off to the world. And other people can appreciate that.
Like, clearly, I think part of it is it's exactly repping your team. Wearing your team's jersey is a good way to build community and camaraderie around that. When Pokemon Go was at its peak, and there are still, like, the last time I went to an actual mall was January, February, and there were still plenty of people with their phone in hand and a battery pack in their pocket, and I know those are Pokemon Go players. Dan is a big Pokemon Go player from the couch right now. He totally doesn't go outside for Pokemon Go. Totally doesn't do that at all.
That's me. I've been playing every day since day one. High five.
Yeah. And you see the folks with their Team Valor or Team, those with those shirts on, and a lot of it's just stuff they got off of Etsy or stuff they got off of Teespring or whatever else. It builds community, and with the exception of Team Stadia, which we're going to talk a little bit more about in a second, like, that's the kind of thing I think we need more of that. We need more community building. It just so happens that 7 or 6 out of the 10 months that Stadia has been around has been during this. So you can't go out to the mall and see somebody with a Team Stadia hat or a Stadia Source, piece of merch or whatever else, because it just doesn't. You can't do it right now, but someday soon. And at that point, we need more things. I think we need more things like Team Stadia Play, getting out there and repping the brand.
I mean, I don't want it to come across that Team Stadia Play is all about selling you guys stuff. That's not what we're about. But I hope that we're filling that gap of the need that definitely exists. I mean, I am always so excited to be able to go out and show off, like, my water bottle. It's just a water bottle, but it's got Stadia on it, and that's what's so cool. So please don't take it the wrong way. Team Stadia Play is here for you, for the gamers. We want to help you guys show off what you love. So there.
And that's perfect. Hey, there's room for both. There's room for the community generating things, and there's also room for folks to go a step further and really make things that the community can rally around. If you want to do Pokemon with Dan, there's his friend code right there on the screen. Head to 1 hour 44 minutes into the podcast, and you can see his friend code.
Writing that down so I can add you later.
Dan suddenly gets 19 more follow requests today.
Just hold your QR code up to the camera.
687. Yeah, but I'm doing this on my phone, so I can't do things on my phone.
6687 4008 3614.
All right, it's going to be coming from Winter Kellstrom, so we're going to be friends.
Well, thank you guys so much for. Thank you guys for a fantastic hot topic. If you would like to weigh in on the hot topic tonight, starting tonight, we are going to be, we've posted a Twitter poll asking you to weigh in on the hot topic and let us know what you think the number one feature or the number one thing that Stadia could do to grow would be. So head to head to @StadiaSource on Twitter. That is also Dan's phone number. If you remember all of that, just put a 00 in front of it. So head to @StadiaSource on Twitter, vote in our poll, and let us know what you think the number one thing Stadia could do to grow is. That's an adorable dog that we just saw in the corner of Scarlett's stream. Scarlet stream. Scarlet, the stream. It's too many streams. Speaking of awesome things that are happening around the Stadia universe, one last bit of business for us to cover tonight, and that is tonight, courtesy of the Ready Gamer One shop from Scarlet, we are doing another giveaway. So you have an opportunity to get yourself. We were just talking about the need to, really throw on that jersey and rep your favorite team. Now you have the ability by winning one of these gorgeous Team Stadia t-shirt jerseys. So it is a fantastic, beautiful in that orange and purple with the Team Stadia, the Phoenix Rising, out there, and looks fantastic, and the big hashtag Team Stadia right on there. Scarlett, what should we know about this and some of the other Team Stadia merch that you do have out there for those who are interested?
Yeah, so I will point out that this is just a t-shirt. It's not like your game kind of jersey. I don't have access to that kind of stuff yet. But we really just wanted to, and so originally this was all started with my friend Zach. And we wanted to give the community a way to kind of show off how much they love Stadia. And so we are a team of gamers, therefore Team Stadia. And so we've got a lot of like really cool things for you guys. We've got t-shirts that look like really cool jerseys. We got a sweet bomber jacket. Got a neck gaiter. All sorts of like kind of fun little things too. Stickers, etc. But I may not be the most active Stadia player, but I can appreciate the value that it brings to people in my situations. And so I wanted to give you guys something that was not only cool to wear, but also you'd be walking down the street, and I always have that dream of being able to like look at someone and be like, we're best friends automatically because we're wearing the same shirt. So you do the whole like bro knot thing, and you walk on your way, and it's great. So Team Stadia play items for you guys.
Fantastic. If you would like your chance to win this jersey, men's or women's cut, this jersey style shirt in men's or women's cut, head to stadiasource.com/giveaway. The link is live right now, and enter that giveaway. It's a simple form for you to fill out. You must be 18 years of age or older as of the date of the giveaway, which will be 2 weeks from tonight. So you have 2 weeks minus 1 day to get your entry in by Wednesday, the 16th. Yes, I did the math right on that. 11:59 p.m. British Standard Summer Time. And then we will draw the winner right here on the podcast on the 17th. So 2 weeks from tonight, if you would like to be the proud owner of one of these jerseys style shirts, head out to stadiasource.com/giveaway and enter that giveaway. Terms and conditions may apply. See store for details. Void where prohibited by law, etc. and so forth. So check out all the details at stadiasource.com/giveaway. And a huge thanks to Ready Gamer One and Scarlett for supporting Stadia Source and helping to show the love to our viewers and our community with this giveaway.
Yeah.
We're big fans. So that just leaves me to stop sharing my screen so I can go back to my script and my notes. That just leaves me to thank you so much, Scarlett, for being here with us tonight. If people want to find you and learn more about both your shops and you and all this fun stuff you do, where can they head on the internet to find you?
Yeah, so I'm on Twitter the most. You can find me as Scarlett_stream. I am also on Instagram, but really don't follow me there. And then if you go to readygamer1.shop, that's where you can find a lot of the work that I do. Or if you're more interested in wooden items, because I make some pretty sweet stuff there too, head over to dragonwoodgifts.com. But if you just want my rambling, follow me on Twitter. I post strange things. I like friends.
Friends is good.
We all like friends. You definitely should follow Scarlett. She's a fantastic follow on Twitter. And you can check out all of her items there as well. In the description box of this video, you can get links to both her social feeds as well as the Ready Gamer One shop and the Dragonwood gift shop. So make sure you click those links, go show her some love, and we have a big thank you. As well, if you check out our site, there is an interview with Carly talking all about being a small business owner in the Stadia community and what it's like to make and create items of particular interest to gamers and interest to the Stadia community, written by our own original penguin, interviewed right below me here in the box. So make sure you go to stadiasource.com and check that out. If you are watching us live, thank you so much, chat. It is always wonderful to have you around and saying awesome things and helping contribute to the problem. And yes, there are mugs on the store. If you like a mug, everybody's got to have mugs. If you like a mug, there are definitely mugs on the store. In fact, there might be one that could slowly rise up into the stream so that if you're watching on YouTube, you could see it. If she gets the hint that I'm giving her via audio, she did not. It's fine. It's perfectly fine. But if you want to see one of those mugs, check out the Ready Gamer One shop online, and you can see those mugs as well.
Did I miss something?
Also,
I'm sorry.
It's okay. Are there Team Stadia mugs? Is there a really cool mug that you could get?
Yes, yes, there is. In fact, it looks a little something like this.
Ooh, very, very cool. Very nice.
Yes. Actually, it looks better than this one. It has red on the inside, but this is the original design.
OG. You got to be one of the special folks to get the OG mug, but you can certainly go from there. We also want to say a big thank you to our patrons. You help us do what we do. If you want to join this wall of humans over to my left-hand side, you can see all of the amazing folks that patronize our site and get more information about the cool stuff that we do for the patrons, such as patrons-only gaming nights, by heading to the bottom of any of our page and hitting Become a Patron. And special thanks to those folks who have supported us in the past via Patreon. You can also buy us a coffee. There's a little button there if you just want to toss us a couple bucks because you like us. Buy us a coffee. Why not? And big thanks to Rock for the hosting support as provided there. That just leaves me to say goodnight to all of our wonderful folks on the panel. Dan, glad to have you. Hope you have a great rest of your night.
I will do. Thank you.
I'm avoiding saying thank you to Dan. He doesn't like it when I thank him for being on his own show. Ash, have a good one.
It was good.
And Adam, have a good one as well.
I'm going straight to bed. Good night, everybody.
Well, if you are listening to the podcast, you can join us live most Thursday evenings right here on YouTube. And if you're watching us on YouTube, don't forget that you can download our podcast on Spotify, Pocket Casts, Apple Podcasts, and everywhere else you get podcasts. You can follow us on Twitter at Stadia Source. Like us on Facebook, pirate us off of LimeWire or Kazaa, and you can join our Discord at stadiasource.com/Discord. If you haven't already, right down there in the bottom is a thumbs up button that lets us know that you liked what you saw tonight, and right next to it is a subscribe button. Guys, we're this close. We're like 50 people away from the 1,000 mark, so please hit that button if you haven't already, and we're going to be there maybe by next week's podcast. We'll be celebrating our 1,000 subscriber marks. Thank you so much for joining us here on the Stadia Source Roundtable. For Stadia Source, my name is Avery, and have a good one.